We'll have, as usual, Chiefs with Griffin, but he'll actually come in a little extra early, so some bonus time there. Women's basketball recap from yesterday's game against Fort Hays State. And men's basketball starts tonight. It's the best day on campus. All that and more on Good Morning KU coming up next. It's another fine Monday on Good Morning KU. I'm Jackson Long. Thanks for joining us. One of the most anticipated days on campus. It's the beginning of Jayhawk basketball season. It starts tonight at 7 p.m. as Kansas hosts Washburn at Allen Fieldhouse. They will be doing so without Connor Frankamp, who has announced his decision to transfer on Friday, wanting to have a bigger role somewhere else. Coach Bill Self said that he had planned to start Frankamp in tonight's exhibition opener.
We lost a good player. We lost a fine young man. We've lost obviously a very good shooter, but we may have also gained, some chemistry issues where now I think guys will be more locked in and more able to probably figure out what their role will be.
Coach Self likes to trend toward experience early on in the season, so don't be surprised if you see sophomore Frank Mason in that point guard spot this evening. Kansas football at Baylor on Saturday, and the Bears were off and running from the get-go. Corey Coleman, 72 yards to the house. Cassius Sendis slips on the play. No one can catch him, and that's a quick 7-0 lead. No one can catch him. Here's Devin Chafflin, pounds it into the end zone late in the second quarter. It's 36-7. Both Coleman and Chafflin had 2 touchdowns on the day. Scary moments here, though. Freshman Derek Neal makes this tackle on a kickoff return, and you can see his helmet hit the knee of the ball carrier. The team definitely is shaken up. Keon Stowers also injured on this play. The latest injury updates for freshman cornerback Derek Neal and senior defensive lineman Keon Stowers. Each suffered injuries that you saw there, requiring them to be carted off the field in the game Saturday. Both were taken to the hospital for further evaluation and have returned to Lawrence and participated in team activities Sunday. So very good news there after a tough and scary weekend down in Waco. Here's the women's basketball box score from yesterday. Kansas wins 73-52 over Fort Hays State. Chelsea Gardner, 23 points, 10 rebounds. She gets the double-double there. Natalie Knight, 11 points, 2 from 3 from long range, 3 assists on the day. So a solid first outing for the Jayhawks. We bring in our insider a little bit early today. Some bonus time with Griffin Hughes. It's our. How's it going? You were able to call the game yesterday for KJHK Radio. How was that experience?
That was so much fun. That was my first time doing that, being that close to the action. I mean, that was something that it was unbelievable.
Absolutely. And so you get a little bit of an inside look on how the women's team performed yesterday in the first game. We knew Chelsea Gardner would be a big factor on this team. How did she dominate yesterday?
Well, what we saw from the preseason All Big 12 player, she dominated in her post-move ability. She missed a couple shots, a couple layups that I expect her to make coming into Big 12 play. But what I also saw was her ability to get positioning, and she was playing Kate Lehman of Fort Hays State, averaged 18 points per game. She was easily the best player for the Tigers, and Gardner was just able to outmaneuver her, box her out on every opportunity. She really looked like an All Big 12 player.
And that's what she was, so we'll see if she can regain that title again this year, but certainly an impressive start for Chelsea Gardner in the first game. Lauren Aldridge, one of the freshmen, not as hyped as the rest of her incoming class, but was able to crack the starting lineup last night.
Yeah, she was actually she was a 3-star recruit. She was the only one outside of the ESPN Top 100, but she looked very confident. She looked good running the offense, both in the half court and then transition. The stats don't tell the whole story. Her assisted turnover was 1 to 4, but she got pretty unlucky. Most of Gardner's misses that I mentioned earlier were off of Aldridge's passes, but she did a great job feeding the ball inside and also finding her teammates. And she clearly loves to run and get the tempo up. And that is what Coach Henriksen definitely talked about in her press conference about wanting to do and keep the game fast. Aldridge seems to be her perfect point guard.
Well, if she fits Coach Bonnie Hendricksen's mold, that'll be nice, and maybe see some more playing time for her there. So 2 players to look out for as we move forward into the rest of the season. Over the Chiefs now, quick recap from the game, 24-10 over the Jets. The Jets fall to 1-7. A tough season so far for them between Geno Smith and Michael Vick. The Chiefs played well again. We'll get into some of that. But let's take a look at the highlights here from Sunday's game. There's Coach Andy Reid looking to push his team to 5-3 on the year, and that's what he would do. Fun play here, Anthony Bassano laying on the ground. The Jets had the butt fumble a couple years ago with Mark Sanchez, and this is the butt catch against them. So Anthony Bassano catches that. Chiefs up 14-0. Michael Vick to Eric Decker there. That was the only touchdown scored for the Jets on the game. And there's Alex Smith with a nice dime to Travis Kelce for the touchdown. Really was all Chiefs in this one. They controlled it. A good moment here, though. Priest Holmes, one of the greatest running backs in Chiefs history, gets honored at halftime. His name gets put into the Ring of Honor. So a nice day for Chiefs fan. They get the win, go to 5-3. Alex Smith with 2 great games in a row.
Yep.
How good was he on Sunday?
I was really impressed with how he was able to manage the game. 21 of 31, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, which is the important part when you're dealing with Alex Smith. And I was impressed with the way that he was able to be a game manager and how he was able to kind of separate himself from the action, just calm down, still make the solid throws, be able to convert on 3rd down, do the things he needed to do. That's exactly what I wanted to see out of Alex Smith.
Justin Houston with 2 more sacks of Michael Vick on Sunday. He now has the NFL lead and is actually on pace through half of the season, that's 8 games, to hold the NFL record, which is 22.5 by Michael Strahan. He has 12 sacks. So how good has Justin Houston in this defense been?
I think Justin Houston, in the way that he's played this year, is a function of how good Tamba Hali is on the other side. And teams are forced to say, all right, it's either Hali or Houston.
Can't double them both.
I mean, well, you can try, but then you have Dontari Poe. And I mean, that's what makes the Chiefs' defense so dangerous. And I think teams are choosing Tamba Hali, and Houston is taking advantage of that. And there's almost nobody who can beat him one-on-one.
Justin Houston also in a contract year, so maybe he's playing for some money as well. Broncos and Chargers both lost, and actually by quite a bit. Broncos to the Patriots, and then Chargers were shut out against Miami. Chiefs at Buffalo next week. Buffalo 5-3 as well. How important is this going forward as the Chiefs creep closer in that AFC West race?
This is probably the most important game they've had this season in terms of needing a win, just because they've already taken advantage of the Broncos and the Chargers losing. Buffalo is the team that they need to beat. Buffalo is also 5-3, but they're a deceptive 5-3. They're playing in a division that is struggling. The Patriots are starting to get there. The Jets are just not good.
Abysmal, yes.
The Dolphins are not great. I mean, they're a deceptive 5-3. They've got quarterback problems. I've never trusted Kyle Orton. This is a game the Chiefs need to have because this is a team the Chiefs need to be able to beat. And if they're to do that, now they've put themselves in the position that going into Seattle, even though it is at home, we're still talking about the Seahawks. They got to play the Broncos again. They can afford to lose one of those games and still definitely compete for the playoffs, maybe even compete for a division,
you don't want to jump too ahead, but it appears it's close.
Fall off.
Yeah. The Chiefs do get the Broncos at home, and right now they're only a game back. So very realistic possibility. After the first game against the Titans, you thought this team was maybe going to sink all the way to the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
But really have played well since then. That's it for Chiefs Talk today. That's also it for sports. We'll be back with Griffin and a guest after the break. Please stay with us.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Griffin Hughes, former Chiefs insider. Now I'm doing an interview. I'm joined by Abby Stucke. Abby, thanks for joining us. You're from Journalism 304, which is visiting us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a sophomore here at KU. I am a journalism and information track for journalism here, and I'm also working on my business degree as well.
So let me ask you, I'm the first to tell anyone KU is the best school on the face of the earth. Why did you choose KU?
The reason I came to KU, the reason that it solidified was the journalism school here. I went to a bunch of other schools, looked at their journalism program, and there was just something special here about this program that just said you need to be here and go on with it.
So you do a lot of work for Rock Chalk Video, and you've done that since you were on campus here. Why was that the route you chose?
Well, I had a door open from a family friend, and he gave me a contact info at Rock Chalk Video. His name is Mike Lickert. He's the director. Just went and talked to him, set up an interview, and within 2 weeks, I mean, I was there on the job working the first football game of the year. So, I mean, it was a whirlwind of events within 2 weeks of being here on campus. So
Connection's always helpful.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of working for Rock Chalk Video?
My favorite part pretty much is being behind the scenes and getting to see all the magic that happens behind. So all the videos you guys get to see at football games, basketball games, just being part of the magic behind all KU athletic events.
So you do football, but then you're also doing the game tonight, right? So talk a little bit about that. What are you excited about? Are you amped? Because I'm pretty amped. I'm working the game tonight too, so I am amped for it. Talk to me about that.
Anything with KU basketball, I mean, it's amped times 100. But I worked the women's game last night, and I mean, that was a great game.
That was fun.
But what we do is we show up about 2.5, 3 hours before, get all the cameras set up, do a run through of how we wanted to use our shots and everything and all the events that are going to go on throughout the game, and then do our run through, and then just we wing it as we go through the show. So if anything happens, you just kind of got to go with it. It's like any video production thing out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you have a year under your belt, you're here, you've done it before. Are you more excited for this year than you were last year coming in?
Yes, I am. After last year, it was everything was new. Again, doing all the new things. Once you get a year under your belt, they kind of give you more responsibilities. I was assigned volleyball this year to work along with the other sports, so I've been taking on more leadership roles with that, along with my coworkers, P. Touch or Robert Smith. So it's a lot of fun, but a lot of work.
So at the end of 4 years, when you've been doing this for a while, what's kind of your end goal? What would you like to accomplish after the 4 years you're here?
See. What would I like to do? It's been a whirlwind of changes for me since I've decided to pursue a second degree here. So, but my number one thing would probably be working for like ESPN or doing some sort of a sports team, working with their video production department or doing something with their media relations. So something with sports. I'm a big sports girl, so
Okay.
I love keeping tabs on sports.
So in 30 years, where would you see yourself? I mean, after you've paid your dues and you're ready, to go, where do you see yourself after everything?
I would love to see myself in a producer's role. Again, sitting behind the scenes. I'm not a big on-camera person, but I love doing the behind-the-scenes magic of like SportsCenter or just any show in general. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Abby, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And everyone from Journalism 304, thank you for joining us. Up next, we've got news, so stay with us.
Good morning, I'm Andrew Shepard.
And I'm Jack Caldwell. This is your Monday morning KU news update. Terminally ill Brittany Maynard ended her own life Saturday. Maynard became the public spokesperson for the Right to Die movement after she launched a video campaign last month. Maynard became famous after more people learned about her decision to move from California to Oregon to take advantage of the Death of Dignity Act. The 29-year-old suffered from stage 4 brain cancer.
Iraqi security forces, with help from the United States, are planning an offensive against Islamic State fighters for spring 2015. According to the New York Times, the goal is to break the Islamic State's occupation in northern western Iraq. This will require training 3 new Iraqi army divisions consisting of more than 20,000 troops. American military planners are helping to devise this strategy.
Former Senator Bob Dole reportedly received an apology from Democratic Senate candidate Greg Orman after Orman appeared to call Dole a clown. Dole told Fox News that he received an email apology, but the two sides have differing stories. The Orman campaign said that it was not an apology, but rather an attempt to set the record straight. They went on to say that he did not specifically refer to Dole as a clown, so he has nothing to apologize for.
Haskell University wants Title IX, a federal law that prohibits sex-based discrimination in education, to affect sexual assault and domestic violence among Indian country. According to the White House report on sexual assault, more American Indian women have been raped than any other race. The Lawrence Journal-World reported that as a result, Haskell has increased its focus on Title IX and plans to conduct awareness efforts. The Counseling Center is also focused on helping perpetrators learn from their mistakes through an educational diversion program.
3 men broke into a Stauffer Place apartment late Saturday night. According to the UDK, the robbers were identified and several suspects are now in custody. The men stole a 45-inch television and $30. One man was reported to be armed.
KU is ranked number 55 on the annual Trojan Safe Sex list. The UDK reported that the university jumped 9 spots after being number 64 last year. KU promotes safe sex through sexual health demonstrations and passing out safe sex kits. The rankings are based on 11 categories, including sex education, STI and HIV testing, and resource availability.
And that will wrap it up for today's news update. Stay tuned after the break. Lane will be back with today's weather forecast.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU. Here's our weather update. It's with Lane, who likes to spend her Monday mornings on the 6th floor of the Kansas Union. Lane, how's the weather out there?
Hey Jackson, it looks really great out this morning. It's about 59 degrees. It's a little bit windy, as you can tell, about 13 miles an hour coming from the south. It's partly cloudy out this morning, so it's actually a really nice day to be walking to class.
Not too bad of a day. Now, what about tonight? Maybe a little mixed forecast tonight. What can you tell us about that?
Tonight, for the KU men's basketball game, make sure that you are watching out for the rain. It's supposed to be about 70% chance of rain around 7 o'clock, so if you're camping, just be wary of that.
Okay, so hopefully it's raining buckets indoors for the Jayhawks in that one. Now, what about the rest of the week outlook?
Well, the rest of the week, it should be about partly cloudy until about Wednesday. It should be sunnier Wednesday and Thursday, and then it should be about 10-15 degrees cooler. So temperatures are slowly dropping, but we'll still keep that sunshine out here for the rest of the week.
Fantastic. It looks like fall weather, and KU actually has a football game Saturday too, so hopefully the weather stays nice. Thank you, Lane, from the top of the 6th floor of the Kansas Union. I'm Jackson Long. Thanks for tuning in to Good Morning KU.